All right, welcome to Tibalt's Apprentice. We are back. Enrique is joining us again. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me again.
All right, seems like we just did this, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about your stand-in?
All right. You know, he seems like a really cool guy.
He's a terrible, terrible person, but I got him to stand in for you because of technical difficulties last time. Nobody cares about that. We're here to talk about who?
Okay, so we're talking about Athreos, God of Passage.
God of Passage, okay. That's a pretty sweet
The altar
image there. Okay.
Yeah. So Athreos, God of Passage, he's a indestructible, legendary enchantment creature god.
Right.
And as long as your devotion to white and black are less than 7, Athreos isn't a creature. So just like the other Athreos gods, essentially. His other text says, whenever another creature you own dies, return it to your hand unless target opponent pays 3 life.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the reason why I chose Athreos is because I wanted to make an Orzhov deck. And as far as like Orzhov commanders go, there's quite a few to pick from.
Sure.
Quite a few. But the reason why I like Athreos the most is because he's so hard to get rid of.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
Yeah, he's so hard to get rid of. And, he's, well costed. It's
right.
3 converted mana cost, so easy to get him out, easy to recast him if you have to.
All right.
And yeah, just really becomes a beater once you get the devotion up to 7.
Gotcha.
So,
all right. I'm going to put you on the spot by asking, was this a pre-con, or this was one that was he in one of the decks, or?
No, this is completely made from scratch.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, what do you have in there to make it work?
So, I have 2 themes going on in this deck. The main theme is Legends Matter.
Okay.
So I have a bunch of Legends synergies and so forth that,
okay.
That help the deck kind of chug forward. It's very combat-oriented as well. So the legends kind of, they tend to be stronger creatures. They have impact as soon as they hit the board usually. So that's what I was going for.
Gotcha.
As the primary theme. The sub-theme is a Life Matters theme / life gain, so forth.
Gotcha.
So a whole lot of life gain, a whole lot of stuff, a whole lot of nice stuff to do with the life gain.
Nice being a relative term here. Yes. So what do you have to support it then? Do you go for artifacts or enchantments, or what are the support cards?
So I just essentially put in a lot of legendary stuff. So legendary artifacts, legendary enchantments, legendary creatures.
Right.
And there's a big emphasis on combat in this deck. So one of the things that really helps out is tutoring for legendary permanents, legendary spells. And I do that through Thalia's Lancers. Now, Thalia's Lancers itself isn't legendary.
Right.
But it's a 4/4 human knight with first strike. Comes into play. You can search your library for a legendary card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library. I also have some recursion in this deck too. So
I was going to say, that sounds like something you would want to do over and over. So another kind of sub thing of recursion in there. How do you feel about tutors? I know some people feel that putting tutors in decks pushes it towards the CEDH level. Mm-hmm. Personal feelings towards that? Is that fine? Does it matter to you?
Tutors don't bother me at all. And yeah, there is something to be said about it being pushed to more CEDH kind of level.
Right.
Because, once you put in redundancies into your deck and you have like this very narrow kind of game plan, mm-hmm. then yeah, you get bumped into that sort of CEDH level.
Gotcha.
But if you have tutors that have these sort of these like quirky tutors, kind of like Thalia's Lancers, mm-hmm. then it lowers the power level of that card, especially because it's 5 mana cost. It's not cheap to bring out.
Right.
And so it kind of balances out big time, in my opinion.
Okay. Fair enough. What else supports it?
I also have Heroes Podium, which is kind of like pseudo-tutoring, I guess. But Hero's Podium is a 5 mana cost legendary artifact. It says that each legendary creature you control gets +1/+1 for each other legendary creature you control.
Nice.
So it just snowballs basically.
Right.
And it also has another ability where you pay X and tap it, and you look at the top X cards of your library. You may reveal a legendary creature card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order.
Okay.
So pseudo, not super tutory, but I mean, there's a lot of
it's a scry
creatures.
effect. I mean, it works though. I mean, it's not. That wouldn't jump to the head of being busted. And if you ask somebody, I don't think that's the. They're not going to consider that a CEDH type thing.
Right. I mean,
and it wouldn't probably play in CEDH.
No, it wouldn't. It's a 5 mana cost artifact, and it's more about like in my eyes, it's a win more, because if you have if you reach a certain threshold of legendary creatures, like it's just going to snowball.
Right.
You end up with like 10 creatures and stuff like
Nice.
that.
Nice.
And then the second ability, it's like a mana dump. Like at the end of the last opponent's turn, you just dump whatever mana you have into it and try to find a creature.
Gotcha.
Now, this is kind of like one of my pet cards.
Okay.
It's a Thrawn Temporal Gateway.
Right.
It's also a legendary artifact.
As soon as you reveal that card there on the table, I'm like, I know this was coming.
So, it's a legendary Creatures Matters deck, or a legendary permanence.
Right.
And so, it's a 4 mana cost legendary artifact. You pay 4 and tap it, and you may put a historic permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. Now, historic, as a refresher,
right,
is artifacts, legendaries, and sagas.
Sagas, that's right.
So I have a couple of sagas in here as well, but mainly it's to cheat out big legendary.
Gotcha.
Beat 'em up.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. So the next card is a mana rock, and it's not a cheap mana rock.
Yeah, I was
either.
gonna say
It's it's a 3 mana cost mana rock.
Right.
But the reason why I love this card so much, it's a Honor Worn Shaku.
right.
So a 3 mana cost artifact. You tap it to add 1 generic mana to your mana pool.
Right.
1 colorless mana, I mean.
Right.
Okay. But the second ability says you tap an untap legendary permanent you control to untap Honor Worn Shaku.
Right.
This is amazing. I love this card so much.
It's horrible. You see me laughing and you see me smiling as he reveals these cards, because I know what it feels like to be on the other end of them and what they feel like, and the value that's generated off of that is just ridiculous.
Oh yeah, it's great.
What set is that even from? I don't even know.
This is, I think it's Saviors of Kamigawa.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
All right. So you're finding a place for a lot of cards that would be considered, in other situations, junk rares or legendaries even. But anyhow, go ahead.
Yeah, so I like this so much because, if you have legendary enchantments or legendary artifacts that, that don't tap for any sort of ability, you could tap those permanents to untap Honor Worn Shaku. You could tap Planeswalkers to untap Honor Worn Shaku. It's just great that way.
It's terrible that way. Okay, fair enough.
And then going on with the legendary permanence matter, I also put in Urza's Ruinous Blast, which is a legendary sorcery. It's a 5 converted mana cost, 4 and white.
Mm-hmm.
And you can only cast legendary sorceries or legendary spells if you control a legendary creature or planeswalker.
Right.
I have tons of them in my deck, so it's okay.
Yeah, you're never short on that. You're never starving for a legendary. Not in this deck, anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
And basically, you exile all non-land permanents that aren't legendary. So none of my stuff really gets affected, but all of your stuff that is
going away
is going away.
Exactly.
Just getting exiled, which is
everything but my commander pretty much is where it's going. So
yeah, and so exiling as a board effect, it's pretty powerful, I think.
Sure.
And then finally, in my legendary cards matter sort of theme is Primeval's Glorious Rebirth. And so another legendary sorcery. And thankfully, because Athreos is so difficult to get rid of, I could get these going off pretty consistently.
Right.
But legendary sorcery, return all legendary permanent cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Oof. So if I'm losing, if I get board wiped and I have this in my hand, I'm not that sad. So those are the legendary cards matter. Cards that synergies and stuff that I work with. Right. Now the sub theme is life gain, and what to do with having more than your starting life total.
Right.
And since my deck is mainly combat oriented, I wanted to put in Runetail Kitsune Ascendant, and
sure,
it's a legendary Fox Monk,
right?
2/2 that casts for 2 and white. And it says, when you have 30 or more life, flip Runetail Kitsune Ascendant, and it becomes a legendary enchantment.
Seems perfect for Commander, for sure.
Yeah, it just flips right off the bat. And it becomes Runetail's Essence, and it says, prevent all damage that would be dealt to creatures you control. So basically I could swing with Abandon with my creatures.
Right.
And yeah, just kind of, especially, when you add in, cards like Heroes Podium, they just kind of snowball.
Sure.
Out of control. At least that's the goal.
That's the goal. So let me ask, before you go too much further, is there a weakness that this deck has? Is there anything, because it seems pretty solid. The whole indestructibility, the legends matter, all of those things seem to be pretty solidly grounded in being able to protect your board state, to get it at board state and protect it. Is there a weakness to this that you can think of? Because, man, I'm trying to think of one.
Like exiling effects, exiling effects, especially if it's mass exile, would hinder it pretty badly. I find that I could get stuck on cards, as far as, black and white. Orzhov, I should say, isn't really known for its card draw ability. That's getting better now.
It's getting better. Not much, but a little. Yeah.
And, there are some cards that have released recently that I would like to put into this deck.
A sweet Smothering Tide.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I think I have that card in here.
Yeah.
I just, But yeah, just being able to draw cards. Gosh, there's this... a 2-drop that came out in Commander Legends 2. Mm-hmm. That's it's a priest, I believe, or a cleric. And basically, it has flash. It comes in.
Right.
If you have an opponent that searches their library, you could draw a card and gain a life.
Right.
Fantastic
card indeed.
So yeah.
Not to derail you, but anyhow, go ahead with the other ones that you have there.
All right. So to take advantage of the life gain that I get, I put in Vizkopa Guildmage in here. Mm-hmm. Now it's a 2-drop human wizard. That's a 2/2.
Right.
Non-legendary, but I thought the abilities were pretty good.
Solid enough to be included then at this point.
So the first ability activates for 1 generic, 1 white, and 1 black, and it gives target creature lifelink until end of turn, which is that's fine.
Sure.
The second ability is 1 generic, 1 white, 1 black, and whenever you gain life this turn, each opponent loses that much life. Indeed. So, I'm trying to gain life in this deck, and especially when you pair it with a card like the Revenge half of Revival and Revenge, or Revival or Revenge.
Right.
So the Revenge part is 4 generic, a white, and a black. And it's a sorcery, and it says you double your life total.
Right.
Target opponent loses half their life, rounded up. So if I pair that with Vizkopa Guildmage, and if I'm at 40-some life, that means each opponent is losing that much life.
Yeah, indeed.
So yeah, if my opponents aren't gaining life, that could take out the whole other side
of
the
table for sure. Absolutely. Did you do the obvious Sanguine Blood Exsanguinate?
You know what? I haven't put those cards
Haven't put those in there yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
great. That'll be coming soon.
Yeah, that's going to be coming soon.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the last one you have out here.
And so the last card, if all else fails,
which is highly unlikely at this point already.
but if all else fails and
If
I'm
all
gaining
else
life,
fails.
I just want to, Hadouken someone in the face for 50 with Aetherflux Reservoir.
Aetherflux Reservoir.
So,
absolutely.
In case you don't know, Aetherflux Reservoir is a 4-cost artifact. And it says whenever you cast a spell, gain 1 life for each spell you've cast this turn. That can snowball pretty quickly, especially if I'm, untapping what is it? The Honor-Worn Shaku to get more value and more mana.
Right.
I could cast 2-3 spells a turn, which it adds up quickly.
Adds up quickly, sure.
And then the second ability is you pay 50 life, and it deals 50 damage to target creature or player.
There you go. Usually enough to end the game for somebody, if not several people in that turn.
Sometimes I like having this card out and having 50 plus life and just daring someone to come after me.
Negotiating tactic, I guess, is what you're looking at there.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But yeah, that's the gist of it.
So what do you think about this deck? Leave any comments below. Are there any obvious synergies that maybe Enrique missed or suggestions? I'm always getting turned on to new cards that I haven't seen before. And maybe there's something that we don't even know about that could be added to the deck to make it even worse. I mean, better. Whatever. Anyhow, thanks for taking the time to watch us. Like, comment, and subscribe if you will. If you do subscribe, I do have one special request, and that is put I subscribe in the comments next to your name. YouTube doesn't always let me know when somebody subscribes. I want to start doing some more things, some more giveaways and things like that. And I want those people that joined us here early to be the ones that get those prizes maybe. So,
That's right.
Anyhow, fair enough.
Subscribe and be an apprentice, right?
There you go. That's right. Thanks for watching.